Hey everyone, it's Jillian here. Welcome back to another episode of Winning Insights, a bonus series of the Ride podcast that brings you audio training tips and tricks from our horse and rider on demand experts. So, in this episode, Bud Lyon is going to give you some advice on preparing for a horse show. So, let's get into it.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about preparation before the shows, and mostly what we're talking about here is just the basic ins and outs of getting ready to move everything into a horse show. So when I'm at home, I want to make sure that my horses are riding appropriately leading up to the horse show, that we've kind of peaked them right before the horse show. I don't like my horses to live at 100% of their capability year-round. I think that has pitfalls both physically and psychologically for the horses. So in between shows, we like those horses to decompress a little bit. I like them to live around 65-70% of their capabilities. And then as we start getting closer to the shows, then we start to ramp up a little bit so that we can peak them right before the shows. So I said all that to say that we like to make sure we have all our homework done and we've prepared the horses appropriately at the shows. We don't want to do any training once we get to the show. We want to make sure that all we do is fine-tune those horses once we're at the show, and that we keep them, kind of relaxed and feeling good so that they can perform their best. The other thing that we have to take into consideration are all the equipment and the gear that we have to take to a show, and that's everything from your saddles and your bridles to your curtains and your stall decorations, your hay and your horse feed, your water buckets. There are times where, the logistics and the organization become really important. So leading up to a horse show, I want to make sure that my crew at home has organized the trailer, that everything's clean, that we know we've stored everything appropriately in the trailer so that it's easy to get to and unload once we get to the horse show. These are all things that are just important to me personally, because I don't want to feel like I'm unorganized or I'm scrambling around once I get to the horse show. I want to be able to pull up to the horse show, unload my horses, unload all my gear and my equipment, and then get right to work in preparing those horses to go compete and be their best. So we want to make sure that we do all the heavy lifting, so to speak, and all the legwork at home, and then once we get to the horse shows, hopefully it's as seamless a transition as possible.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Ride podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and please be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow Horse and Rider Magazine on social media and find us at horseandrider.com.
If you guys have any questions or comments, please be sure to hit us up at horseandrider@equinenetwork.com. We want to hear from you guys.
And if you like what you're listening to, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes.